Right, maintaining proper workplace etiquette is essential for a good working environment. But how do you know what's appropriate and inappropriate these days?
Maybe you use CC and reply all too many emails, or don't know how to avoid gossip. Well, here with everything you need to know is culture and etiquette coach Akilah C.T. Easter. And I can't tell you what my biggest pet peeve is. Everybody hits reply all. Reply all. Reply all. Reply.
Yes. With the one-word responses.
Yes.
Congrats. Great. I agree. No, why does everybody need to know that?
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what do you do in a situation like that?
I tell them, I don't do it, but I do say, I do kind of just delete. At work, you have to just delete it. Okay. But then I casually start to have the conversations like, oh, everybody's replying all to that one, right? So, you know, because you're within that same workplace, so you can kind of get the hints. I kind of tell people these are some of these soft rules that are associated with it. I've had some people be very blunt. Please remove. Please remove me from this list.
Yes.
I wouldn't do that. That does mess with some of the environment at work. But if it does get excessive, that's okay.
Okay, so you don't always have to address it head on.
No, you don't have to
address it aggressively.
You don't want to be the Debbie Downer all the time within the office space. But if it does become excessive, that's when you can address it.
Okay, so let's talk about CC and BCC. When is it appropriate to use those?
Now, I will say at work, BCC is not the best idea.
Okay.
That's kind of we so-called dry snitching. So you're telling on people.
Yeah.
But the CC, that is those who are involved in the conversation. Do not invite the whole team because it causes confusion. What is this? Why am I involved in this?
Doing this?
And then it causes more emails and more conversation that's not necessary to the topic of the email. Emails are supposed to be short, concise communication, not long soliloquies and everybody's joining in and offering their opinion. You can have an in-person meeting for that.
Okay. When it comes to social media, some people's job requires them to use social media, but that doesn't mean that if you have a job, you're required to do social media,
right? So it depends on the work environment. I'm very cautious of who I allow on my social media, particularly from work. We do spend a lot of time at work, probably more than we do at home. But when we spend all that time with people, a lot of personal lines can get crossed. So those boundaries are very key when you do have social media for work. And if you don't have any social media, it doesn't look good, particularly if you're looking for a job. They're like, who is this person? Why aren't they on social media? We need to know something about them, even though they're not supposed to be looking you up. But when you do have social media, respect boundaries and do not gossip on your social media about work, or do that. I'm not going to say who this is, but I'm talking about somebody, those subtle hints about people. You have to think about the professionalism when you have even your personal account.
Well, even with you, I would think it's you have students.
Yes.
Like they probably try to friend you, and that's got to be awkward.
And I have my key things. I try not to look. I'm thinking about myself. I try not to post in swimsuits because I don't want my students seeing it like that. And I try not to post with alcohol and things such as that. So, but I do allow some personal freedom because I'm like, I do have a personality, but I am cautious of things that I post due to the nature of my job.
Well, then in that case, should you have a private account?
You can have a private account, but you know how small Chicago is and how small we're finding out how small the world is. You know, 2 people away. Oh, I know this person too, and then they can get onto your account and things like that. Anything that I do not want coming up, I do not put on social media.
Okay, so let's talk. It's getting hot out there.
Yes.
So the attire in the office is changing, right? I like to show a few shoulders once in a while.
Shimmy, shimmy. Yeah.
Where does the line cross?
It depends on the environment, but I would say not wearing flip-flops, things such as that. If it's fashionable, respectful. I always say if you're showing something up here, you're fully covered down here, and then vice versa. Just making sure that you're in that business casual professionalism. I'm not wearing spaghetti straps to work. I'm not showing excessive skin at work just because I want to keep it a professional environment.
What about workout clothes? Some people wear workout clothes to work.
I am seeing that. I do not wear workout clothes to work because I wear those to the gym. But we are getting very relaxed. What are leggings versus workout clothes? You know, those different types of things. But I would make sure I make sure I'm covered if I'm not, showing different areas of my body, just making sure that I'm still maintaining that professionalism. Maybe Fridays is a little bit more relaxed with that.
And I would say if you have a question about it, ask your boss.
Yeah, and that's in HR or directly to your boss, like, how do you feel about this? I've had bosses come to me and ask me, how can I articulate to somebody that they need to change their attire? They're not as professional. Their clothes may be too dated for the presentations that we need. So we come up with with different plans on little steps that we can take to be able to articulate that to people, kind of demonstrating yourself. And then if the whole office is demonstrating, that person will kind of notice those different characteristics.
They'll fall in line or get left behind.
Yeah.
Akilah, thank you for coming
Thank you
in
guys
and
for having
sharing.
me.
And if you have more questions or you need her help, you can reach her at akilahct.com. She can, all kinds of videos and information.
Yes, I have etiquette classes online that you can take without me in your comfort of your home. So yes, those different types of things.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you
no
so much.
Excuse.
No excuse.
All right. Thank you, Akilah.